Hello, America, YouTube, whatever the fuck. This is going to be a video on Twitter and some other things, but mainly probably on Twitter. And by the way, if you want to know my damn Twitter page, it's Humanist Philosophies, though. Humanist Philosophies, PHI. Awesome. PHILOEHIE, I believe. I don't know. Anyways, just look up humanist. You'll probably find me. I'll probably post some dumb shit somewhere. Trail down a few pages, trail down a few links and stuff, and you'll find me. The point is, I'm going to be talking about that, and I guess to start this off a little bit more of a lighthearted note, I was talking about wrestling. I didn't watch wrestling last night. I don't know how it's doing. I know our truth was trending. I don't know what happened to wrestling last night, but it was better the last week or the week before last, or the Raw before last. It was pretty good, but compared to some of the other Raws. But here's what happened in Raw, and this is where Heyman didn't understand. He was not given a top greatest quality athlete or entertainer. Here is why. WWE began a new generation or a new line of wrestler pretty much in 2001, 2002, and they called that ruthless aggression. And they had to work with their attitude athletes. John Cena, Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, Batista, Trish Stratus was already there. Leader was already there, but they were coming up the ladder. Victoria, Molly Holly. I don't know who else, Nydia, and a number of athletes, and Ariel from the Sci-Fi ECW brand that went to TNA and became Selena, and a number of other girls. Basically, Shelly Martinez, who was very good. And the point is, either fucking way, they made it work. But over time, they rated, not wanting to push out the old talent. Because one, perhaps it was loyalty to the old talent, and two, they knew that fans liked the old talent. But here's the problem with this. It doesn't fucking work. And here, by the way, here is the reason why it doesn't work. Every generation of talent is there for primarily one focus. Yeah, draw eyeballs to the show, draw ratings, and do their thing. But they're also there to pave the way for the new talent. And every 10 or so years, at least, really every 10 to 15 years, you're supposed to clean out the old talent and build new talent. And here's the thing about that. You're supposed to clean out the old talent and build the new talent, and they didn't do that. The time to build a new talent was 2013, and they had already started to do that. They had built Punk up, even though he was a bit older then. He was still under 40, and he reached the title. But Caitlyn was a girl who I thought could have been a new China. They had a guy called Ziggler, who they had turned face because of another wrestler called Del Rio, who they built up to be big, and they gave him a really good gimmick, and then they just didn't do anything with it. He was turning heel. They turned Ziggler face because of a concussion. The audience was into Ziggler after he had won his first title. The audience was cheering him, and they didn't do anything with it. Then you have other wrestlers, Daniel Bryan. It took the audience, the WWE universe, as they want to say, to get him over. It took forever. They eventually listened. They put him in a match. He wins the title, and he gets injured. Now, it wasn't their fault. They could have pushed him first. He comes back. You would think they would give him a big return match, but they didn't do it. So what happens instead was he basically isn't in the Royal Rumble, or he is in the Royal Rumble, the second one. He wasn't even in the first one. He's in the second one. He is eliminated almost one of the first eliminations, the first few eliminations. Reigns, who was big the year before, gets all the damn shit for that, and everybody blames him. You have a number of other stars. The Shield is feuding with Evolution. I think Batista backed out. They ended the Evolution feud. There are a number of talent on the NXT brand they didn't bring up. They bring one girl. They did bring one star, a girl, up at the age of 21. They pushed her far too fast. They did this with a number of other girls, but they pushed Paige as a top star. And a lot of these wrestlers that they finally start to bring up, particularly around the year 2015, 2016, is when they brung the majority of these stars up. They brung them up too fast. They didn't know the basic protocol of being a wrestler. They weren't really over. The NXT nerd blew smoke up their ass, and they didn't go anywhere or get anywhere. So now you're stuck with a bunch of stars who don't know how to read their promos. They don't know how to goddamn go read the lines. They sound like a bunch of fucking 9-year-old robots with a fucking mental disorder. The promos are really bad. They're not very good. The creative that they spent years investing in Hollywood writers with no experience in wrestling, and he didn't really give a damn about wrestling, looking to get a few fucking cheap warrants, got the fucking money, and the people that aren't Hollywood writers are in what's known as a wrestling bubble. So they're not Hollywood writers, and they are wrestling management, but they're so entrapped in the bubble, they're trapped in what was worked in 1970s Southern wrestling, and it's not going to work in the United States in the year 2020. And basically, that's why the WWE roster is floundering, and why it sucks, and why the only two performers, and now I hear Taker is retiring, and that's convenient because the only two performers possibly ready to take that fucking crown are the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and fucking Aleister Black. Outside of them, who have Taker-ish characters, similar characters to Taker. Other than that, I'm not sure there's anyone working in WWE ready to take over for the old guard, and that sucks when you consider the fact some of these old wrestlers have been in the company 30 or more years. It's a mistake, and it comes from the fact that they had people, and while we didn't mind it at the time, you had Hogan and Flair and people still wrestling and working in the WWE in 2002, 2003. They weren't building up new talent, and they didn't know what they were doing. So they had all this old talent, and they weren't conditioning and preparing the new talent to take their spot. So you have a mistake, and you have a complete clusterfuck. But anyways, the point is, that's the state of wrestling. But I think it can recover, but that was where Paul Heyman went wrong. Paul Heyman, you see, you have to understand, he's looking at it and thinking as if, I could take the old talent from when I used to work in wrestling from back in 1990s, back in ECW in the SmackDown 6 in the early to mid 2000s. You know what I can do? Well, I can build them up, and I can make these huge fucking stars out of them, like Sandman, Raven, Tommy Dreamer, Don Marie, and so forth. And he wasn't able to do that because you have the talent to work with. These people are not that talented. They're not ready. Bayley cannot cut a promo. She is not good on the promo. Nia Jax keeps botching the moves. These people should not be on the main event, and somebody should be saying, why are these people on the main roster when they're messing up this bad? And no one does that, especially for the girls, but also for the boys. And even Seth Rollins is very horrible in some cases at cutting a promo. They're not very good. But anyways, the point is, that's what's wrong with wrestling. Moving on to my issue. I recently was trolled by a fucking Republican who kept asking dumb questions, and I kept giving my answers, and they're always convenient. They're not always the convenient, conventional, democratic answers. And I said one reason why I don't mind tearing down these statues is, yes, it's very offensive to black people, but guess what? It's also very damaging to white people because minorities look at those statues, and guess what they think? They're thinking racist. And when they look at a white person, they're thinking racist because of the connection between you and that statue. And it's also making white people feel shame and guilty for things they had nothing to do with. I had nothing to do with. I am actually many generations Native American. I'm part Irish. We came over on boats. I had nothing to do with that. But the basic concept and misconception is, guess what? You're a fucking racist. No, I'm not. And we kept talking. I talked about we exported jobs. We screwed over Latin America. We destroyed their economy, and we destroyed their agriculture. And by the way, we did the same thing in the Middle East. We bombed their country, so they come here because they have nowhere else to go, so they come to the United States. Not because of a fucking stupid statue with a fucking torch and a goddamn whatever, not because of Lady Liberty. They come here because when you go somewhere else, if you had nowhere else to go, and they were throwing bombs at you and your country and your land and your fucking houses and places were being bombed out, of course you would. I'll be right back. Bad, 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 bad. I love you. Love you. Good. Good, good doggy. I love you. Stay where you're at. Okay? Don't open doors. Don't open doors. Bad doggy. I love you. Okay, I'm back. Back to the point. The point is, the point is, what the fuck was the point? Jesus H. Christ on a cross. Oh yeah, I remember. So anyway, we fucked up their economies and they come here. The solution is to end this globalization of the world, globalism, and certain capitalist tactics. Don't fuck up their economy. Don't destroy them. And all you Americans who are like, well, they took our jobs. Well, you know what? That would stop happening if you would stop destroying their country. But anyways, one thing led to another, and he's talking about something about who attacked who first. And I still have no ever living clue what this prick is talking about. But I basically said, are you talking about the Alamo? Well, that was a disputed territory of land that we had basically war with the Spanish government over, is in Spain, largely basically a white country. And he said no. And I finally just said, well, okay, then are you talking about Aztecs? Because they committed some war crimes against more peaceful Native American tribes. That I have an extensive history with, by the way, that I am part Native American. And anyways, the prick comes to the conclusion, finally, basically, well, I'll see you. So basically, he wanted me to say something negative about these Latino immigrants. And I wasn't saying a damn thing negative about them, and I wasn't saying one damn lie. And he can try to spin this as a hate crime all he wants. Look up the fucking history of damn Aztecs. It will take you a 5-second search. You can look it up, and I posted it on my damn site. Humanist Philosophies. I even posted the goddamn fucking link to a video about it where they fucking committed war crimes. I didn't fucking make them do that. They did. What? Just because they're not white people, I'm not supposed to say they did? What the fuck is your point, you fucking asshole? Anyways, beyond that, Justin Bieber. Did he or did he not commit a rape? Okay, well, let's say this, for example. For example, let's say they took a fucking giant piece of pie survey of whether or not this motherfucker raped a chick. You know what that piece of pie should look like? One small sliver of the girl who said he did, saying yes. One small sliver of, but then one small sliver of him saying no, I didn't. And then a 99.999,000 whatever the fuck percent of that fucking piece of pie should say, you know what? No, I have no ever-loving fucking clue whether or not this man raped a chick or not, because you don't. I don't know, and you don't know. Now, I pointed out the guy's rich, he's good-looking. Why would he? Now, there are sociopathic freaks out there. I know that, and I know that who do this because of control, and maybe he's one of them. But I have never gotten that damn sense from him. And I have gotten the sense that he's an idiot, and I have got the sense that he's a jerk. But I do not think the man would commit a rape. That's just my personal opinion. And believe me, his music sucks. And his music does suck. But I don't think he's a fucking rapist. Okay, just saying, that's my little fucking hat that I've thrown in the arena of what did this guy do? I don't fucking know. And I also don't think it's any fucking coincidence, by the way, that all of the fucking accusations seem to have come out in the last 3 fucking years by mostly females accusing fucking mostly men of fucking rape who happen to have money. But you're right. Maybe he did it. I don't know. Okay, getting a little excited here. Okay, moving forward. What the hell was the other thing I wanted to talk about? I don't even know. The statues. I don't know. I don't remember. Oh yeah, I will say they. I think there was something else I wanted to talk about, but for the record, the statues. I wrote tearing them down. I think they should tear them down. Like I said, I'm part Native American. I think that Andrew Jackson was very bad to the Native American people. I agree with tearing the statue down. They want to tear down Rosie Roosevelt's statue. And of course, I'll let you know what I thought about Albert Pike's statue that I don't agree with tearing his statue down. But as far as Roosevelt, I don't really care. But I also can't really give you a reason why they want to tear a statue down. Now, he was a prohibitionist. And there was a lot of horrible things about prohibition, including federal agents poisoning alcohol for people, and people dying from alcohol, by the way, alcohol poisoning because of federal agents and blaming the moonshiners. And a person who literally saw all St. Nicholas, Santa Claus, before he died, because they were fucking up the alcohol supply for these poor people buying alcohol. And the federal government and the federal Bureau of Alcohol and Firearms and things did do that. But with that being said, I don't know much about him. I know they said teddy bears came from his name because he was supposed to shoot a fucking bear and he refused to do so. And again, I don't know. But with that being said, I support tearing down these statues. I don't see the damn point. You can't build anything new on the face of all the fucked up shit that is already wrong with this country. So I'm not against that. And it seems like there was something else I wanted to talk about, and I don't remember what it was, and I really don't give a shit. He's 666.